Hollywood is still reeling from the horrific murders of Rob and Michele Reiner. The legendary director and his wife were butchered in their Brentwood home over the weekend. Their bodies discovered in the master bedroom by their daughter, Romy. The cause of death noted in official records as, quote, multiple sharp force injuries. Romy's brother, Nick Reiner, has been charged with their murders. He appeared in court yesterday in shackles and a blue suicide vest. He did not show any sign of emotion. He simply stared ahead until he was led away. The shocking nature of this case of a son accused of killing his much-loved and well-known parents obviously raises the question, why? Well, a newly surfaced interview gives us a little bit of a window into Nick's relationship with both his mom and his dad. In 2015, Rob Reiner and his son Nick worked together on a movie called Being Charlie. It was based on Nick Reiner's own addiction and mental health struggles. Around the time of the movie's release, Rob and Nick went on a podcast with comedian Paul Mecurio. It was during that podcast that Rob Reiner defended his son Nick against critics calling him a Nepo baby.
It's only hard to reveal that stuff to then get told you're a spoiled, white, rich kid, and it's like, okay, maybe all these things.
Well, who would say that to you? Not your dad.
No, but the world, you know. Listen, I had to talk to him about this. Listen, I know what it's like to be the son of, and to have people assume certain things about you, and it's very, very difficult. They don't know. They don't know what he's experienced. They don't know what he's gone through. They don't know why he's done what he does.
I wrote a movie about doing drugs and having a hard time, and people still, you know,
people have really said stuff.
Rob Reiner then went on to express he felt guilty at how he treated Nick while he was in the throes of his addiction.
I think that's where we made the mistake, is that we didn't trust that he had that.
If you supported him as opposed to you were punishing him.
Yes, we were definitely.
Well, meaning like grounding him. You can't use the car. You got to stay home. All that
just
stuff.
The whole idea of throwing him into a rehab place. You know, just saying okay, and there's a punitive aspect.
But if you hadn't done that, how could you treat him on? You couldn't treat him on your own.
No, not on our own. But we could have maybe just worked with him with a therapist, and you know, been a little bit more active in that way. I think we just overreacted.
Joining me now is Paul Mecurio, who is host of that podcast, which is now called Inside Out with Paul Mecurio, and Matt Murphy, former senior deputy district attorney in Orange County, California. He spent 2 decades prosecuting all the most notorious murder cases. Matt, I want to start with you because we have a couple new developments today. There's reporting on TMZ, of all places, which is sensational but often accurate, that Nick had recently been in a rehab, a sort of, that specialized in treating well-to-do clients, had diagnosed him with schizophrenia and had begun him on a course of medication with which he was struggling. This has got to be ammunition for Nick's brand new high-powered defense attorney, Alan Jackson.
Well, it may have come from the defense because they haven't revealed their sources. I think that's the first salvo, and look, we're going to deal with years of information coming out like that. Alan Jackson's an excellent defense lawyer, and he's got to, right now, he's got to try to wrestle with the narrative. You know, there's a lot of public outrage about this, and people are trying to sort it out and figure out exactly what happened, and we're gonna see some substantial continuances, but that's exactly the kind of thing that a defense attorney is gonna need and want if he's gonna go what's called NGRI, or not guilty by reason of insanity.
But that's such a high bar, is saying you're schizophrenic. And by the way, he wasn't walking around, you know, in split personality. I mean, he was functioning normally enough. He did get tossed out of a Christmas party the night of the murders.
That's right.
But for asking inappropriate questions. But, you know, is that enough? Is that a high enough bar that he was on brand new medication for schizophrenia and it was like screwing up his head?
Well, ultimately it'll be the jury's call on that. But the thing about it is, remember, if the reporting is true, we've got blood in the hotel, right? Then that's all going to come back forensically to Nick Reiner. I guarantee that. So what are the options for the defense? You've got something like this going for them, and it's not a whodunit. They're going to be able to prove that Nick is the one.
It's all they've got. But the question is it going to be enough? I think not reasoned by guilty of insanity. I've seen a lot of murder defendants who looked a lot more insane than Nick Reiner, and who were found guilty.
Who've been found legally sane, like my Nicholson case out of Newport Beach, which was a young man, very similar, very wealthy, murdered both of his parents and the housekeeper. The jury just found him legally sane, and he's set for sentencing next week. But every case is a statistic of one. And look, Nathan Hochman's a great DA, and he's going to get a really good team on this. They know Alan Jackson. The judges know Alan Jackson. I think we're going to see a very, very fascinating legal process play out in this case. All
right, Paul, you sat for this very revealing interview with Rob and Nick together. I was so struck by the clip we played where Rob talked about feeling so guilty for not listening to Nick and instead listening to the people with the diplomas on the wall. As someone who knows this experience well, you're not going to listen to the addict.
Right.
You shouldn't listen to the addict.
Right. But so what that particular shot tells me is something bigger, right? Which is that we're parents are watching. Biggest fear I have is making mistakes with my kid. And the hardest thing to do is admit you make mistakes. And I had in front of me two people that had healed at that time. They had been through hell and back with this addiction. They both they were both very, very honest about their shortcomings. Rob talking about, and Nick talking about how he didn't really understand his father because his father was quiet off stage, off camera, until he started working with him on the movie. The movie had an incredible healing power for both of them, and also they made it to heal others going through this. So I give Rob a lot of credit for admitting that he had a mistake, because you can't heal unless you start to open up and be honest and want to be learning from each other. And so what I found, and the irony in this is, the earlier shot, the earlier clip that you played talks about the famous...
growing up the son of a famous father.
Well, here's the irony. The problem got healed through the thing that created the problem. The problem was show business. So what did they do? They made a movie about this problem, were open about it, and that movie, at that time, I can't speak to what happened after that, healed them. And I detected nothing but love, mutual respect. Not easy as parents to defer to your child. There's always that inherent superior thing.
Did you think Nick was sober at that point?
To me, he seemed it. I'm not an expert.
Because he went on a podcast a few weeks later to say he was actually still smoking
I can't speak
pot
to
and
that.
drinking.
I mean, what I saw was he was present, he was open, maybe started out in the conversation a little shy, but what I saw were just two people that had worked through this clearly, to me, through therapy, and they were better for it, and they had a social responsibility, which I really admired, to make the film to help other people and families going through this.
Yeah, and possibly heal their own family in the process.
They certainly were through that, yeah.
I only have 10 seconds, but what was your reaction when you heard about the murders, having sat down with them to do this interview?
It was a complete 180 of what I saw in the room. Like, if you told me, asked me 10 minutes after that interview that this would happen, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Never in a million years.
Yeah, and I think I read people pretty well. There was nothing in that room where you're like, it was a beautiful relationship at that time.
At that time, at that moment, who knows?
That's all I can speak to, but it was really a beautiful thing, and I can only hope I have that kind of relationship with my son.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.